Okay, I'm gonna start by putting my hair back. I got these cutie little barrettes at the Dollar Tree, actually. They're perfect. They hold back all of my hair, but they're not uncomfortable. And they also don't stick out the side of my head like some of those other like hairstyling clips do. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to go over color theory, and specifically color theory when it has to do with dark under eye circles, which as you can see, I have those. They're hereditary for me. It runs in my family, and it's something that I used to be super insecure about when I was younger, but now this is just the way God made me, and I've learned to live with that. Because I've had dark circles my whole life, I've tried countless concealers, color correctors, formulas, high-end, low-budget beauty. I've tried it all, and I wanted to share my advice. So if you're stumbling upon this video and you also have dark circles, or maybe you don't, you just want to learn about color theory, I don't know. I hope this is a space where you can feel comfortable to learn and ask questions. So if you're watching this video and something comes to mind, you're like, wow, I really want to know about a specific product or a shade or something like that, please feel free to leave a comment and I'll do my best to reply. You can even message me on my other social platforms like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of that. But yeah, I'm happy to help if you have any other specific questions, but this is just going to be the basics, the general rule of thumb that I go off of as a makeup artist and on myself for my dark circles. So it just started raining, but I'm just now realizing that my phone is pretty close to the window. So hopefully you can't hear it. If you do, maybe it's relaxing. So I want to start off by saying dark circles come in varying shapes, sizes, and colors and types. So I have a bit of like hollowness here where the actual, like if you turn and you look at my peripheral, there's actually some of like a divot or dent here, and my eyes are they're far back into my skull, right? So that creates more of a darkness depth area in here because there's actually a shadow, right? Because like my eye socket is further back in my head, so there's actually going to be a shadow there. And then as far as like my bone structure and where there's some hollowness and sunkenness here, that's not something you can change, right? Like that's the anatomy of your face. You know, there's like tricks to maybe create more light right there, kind of like an optical illusion, but something like that and puffiness under your eyes is not something that you can fix with makeup. It's the way your body was structured. So if any of those things are your issues, concealer is going to help and applying makeup is going to help, but it's never going to change it. Like even eye creams claim they can help with puffiness, but oftentimes, you know, that's not really true. I'd say just a good basic moisturizer under your eyes or a really good eye cream that's not too sensitive for your fragile, thin skin under the eyes is a good place to start. So I say that in the beginning because that was a thing that I really didn't like about my under eyes at first, was the shape of them, like just how thin that skin is under there, and that's common for everyone, but I thought concealer was gonna like fix that, you know? I would like turn my head and there'd still be like darkness right here, but it's just the way I was made. It's the way God made me, like I said. So concealer is not gonna change that. So if that's your goal, maybe rethink that, you know? Give yourself a little bit of grace here. You're beautiful the way you are, but concealer can definitely help you look more awake. Okay, so now onto the thing that you can actually cover up with makeup. Again, it's not gonna change the way your face looks without makeup, but this is something you can do to conceal and disguise any discoloration you have under your eyes. The difference between the darkness or the depth of the shade under your eyes and the color of your under eye dark circle. For me, as you can see, I have quite a lot of purple under my eyes, and this is something that I've just recently started to notice or discover. Let's say a lot of people have dark circles that aren't so colorful. I'm special. A lot of people's dark circles are just that. They're just darkness. Like it's kind of more of like a gray brown color. There's a gray dark circle and you put a light concealer on top of that has no specific undertone. It just has lightness, like the shade is lighter than your skin tone. Then it's gonna make your under eyes look gray, right? Like it's not gonna fix the color of your under eye. It's just gonna brighten the darkness a little, but the difference is still gonna be there between the depth of your skin tone and the depth of the under eye circle. And again, this is all going to be different depending on the outcome that you want for your under eyes. Personally, for me, I just want to conceal my under eyes. I might like a little bit of brightness, but generally I don't like my under eyes brighter than the rest of my face. But there's people who do. My complexion is light, right? I'm fair skinned, but my dark circles are darker than my actual skin tone. So when I pick a concealer or a color corrector for under my eyes, I need that shade to be dark enough to actually cover the darkness under my eye. Or a lot of companies sell fair skin color correctors or brighteners. They're almost this shade. It's like a pink, like a peachy pink, or those really popular pink under eye powders. For me, those are too light because the darkness of my under eye is way darker than the actual shade or depth of those light pink shades. So when I'm picking a color corrector or a concealer shade, I want it to be like as close to my complexion as possible. And I'm using the words corrector, color corrector, and concealer interchangeably. And there might be varying opinions on this, but a lot of people will buy, like I said, like a corrector that's a light pink shade depending on your skin tone, or people with deeper complexions like a peachy orangey shade almost, but it'll be like a two-step process. So color corrector, then concealer. Because I'm lazy a lot of the time and more of a simple makeup gal, I actually like to pick a concealer shade for myself that's kind of a color corrector and concealer in one. So it's just one step. Because it started storming so bad, the power went out, and you could really hear it in the videos. I played them back. So I think we're at a good stopping point now. I think some of the light went away, and hopefully there's not a big difference. So if you can hear thunder in the background, or rain, or my dogs whining because they don't like thunder and rain, I apologize, but I really wanted to film this today. Okay, so a good rule of thumb, if you look at your under eyes, you have to decide how dark they are in comparison to your skin tone. You have to decide what color they are just in comparison to anything, I guess. And then you have to decide kind of what you want the final result to be. Do you want your under eyes to be lighter than your complexion? Do you want them to just kind of blend into your complexion? Okay, so with those things being said, I'm gonna tell you what I normally look for when I'm trying to correct or fix my under eye darkness. So like I said, my under eyes are darker. They are darker than my skin tone, right? Like you can see darkness. The comparison of this shade of my skin to this here, this is darker. So because of that, I have to pick a darker under eye concealer or a darker corrector to fix the depth and the darkness of this issue. If you put a lighter shade, no matter the undertone, if you put a lighter shade on something that's this dark, it's just gonna honestly make it more obvious and it's not gonna fix the issue. The color theory isn't there. It's gonna honestly highlight it a little bit too. So let me show you what I mean. So this is a mini size concealer that I actually bought online, and the shade is just a little bit too light. So I only use this if I mix it with a warmer tone color or something darker. This is Tarte by the Sea, I think was the name of the collection. Power Flex concealer, and this is the shade Fair Neutral. I actually lean more toward the light shade range of things, but you can see this is definitely lighter than my hand. So obviously it's gonna be lighter than my face. So if I take a color like this and only put this under my eyes, like the name implies, it's kind of a neutral color. There might be some yellow in there, some warmth, but because this is such a light shade, it's not gonna do the right thing for my under eyes. So let me show you. I'm just gonna messily apply this. So hopefully you can see here, this eye has no concealer and it's definitely darker. So we did brighten this side, but we brightened it to where it's almost highlighting the darkness under my eyes, don't you think? Like, I think this looks worse than just with nothing. It's highlighting the blue purple shade under my eyes, and it's not concealing it or masking it. It's just making it more obvious. So like I said, I don't use this concealer alone. Like I would mix it with something a bit darker because the shade is just too light for my under eyes. And you might be able to see it a bit better when I turn to the side. You can still see all of that darkness there. Look at that. You can still see all of that, and it's just like highlighted around it, which is the opposite of what I want. The lightness and the darkness of the shade you pick is super important, right? All right, it's the next day and it just got to be way too dark. I'm not used to daylight savings yet, and I was like, why is it getting so dark? And I think it was just because the sun was setting. But yeah, I'm back today. So as you can see, my dark circles are very purple. They're all purple up in here. My veins right here are kind of blue, but most of my darkness is purple. But I'll pop up a color wheel somewhere over here. But if you want to neutralize a purple color, the opposite of purple on a color wheel is yellow. So to neutralize the purple under my eyes, I would go in with a very yellow toned concealer. And a great option for that, what I've had in my collection for years, is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Multi-Use Concealer in the shade 150. And it's a very yellow tone. So I'm going to put this directly on top of the purple here. And I'll blend that out. And you can already see such a big difference. Look at that. But you can still see some purple here, but look at how big of a difference that is. The color is definitely neutralized. I'm gonna add just a little bit more right where the darkest part is. You just pop it directly on top and let that sit. Any coverage product that you let dry down a little bit will like automatically bump up the coverage of it. So I'm gonna let that sit for a little bit, but that's the purple side. I used to think for a long time that my dark circles were more blue, and they are. There's definitely some blue around here and up in here, but I think the majority of them are purple now. So that's why I'm leaning more toward a yellow color corrector or yellow tone concealer. But just for fun, let's try color correcting blue on this side and see what happens. So again, on a color wheel, the opposite of blue, or the way to neutralize a blue color would be with orange or peach. And because my skin tone is lighter, I'm gonna take a peachy shade. Another concealer I've had in my collection for so long is the LA Girl Pro Conceal HD Concealer. And this is what I have in my kit actually too. It's amazing. I use it on every single one of my clients. But this is in the shade Classic Ivory. And you'll be able to see this is a very peachy color. So same thing on this side, just gonna pop it right there in the darkest part of my eye and blend it out. Okay, I'm gonna blend this one out as well, the second layer I did on this side. So if you can tell, the blue over here is neutralized and in here, but there's still so much purple that you can see right here. So let me know what you think. I prefer yellow. That's why I use yellow color correctors. And you may think yellow is, the shade yellow is only for medium to deep skin tones, but you can really find a good light yellow color like this, and it makes a world of a difference. But yeah, let me know in the comments below which one you think is more covered. Isn't that crazy? I'm gonna wipe that off. I wonder if you'll be able to see a difference. I think my dark circles are actually darker today. I have a bit of a headache, I think, because of all the storms. So I think they're kind of darker today. So maybe a good thing that, I couldn't finish the video like I wanted to yesterday, and we can really see the colors under there today. All right, so like I mentioned earlier, I kind of like to combine color corrector and concealer in one step just for the sake of time, and it just makes things easier when I'm getting ready in the morning or if I'm in a rush getting ready. So like I've said, my favorite concealer of all time is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer, and I choose the shade Light Peach for my skin tone. And that's because it has warmth in it. It's a little peachy, but I also think there's some yellow in there, and so it does an incredible job with my purpley, bluey dark circles. Start just with one eye here. Again, this is the perfect way to apply any concealer because it maintains the coverage, but the sponge also gives it a natural, more skin-like appearance. I got my warm cup of coffee. Ooh, perfect for a cloudy day. Talk about a before and after here. Isn't that crazy? I love this concealer because it dries down. It's gonna stay where it is, but there's still some luminosity. It is so important for me because my under eyes tend to look really dry. which is a big reason why I don't wear powder under my eyes very often. Well, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something from this video. Again, like I said in the beginning, if you have any questions at all, please ask me. But I hope you learned something about color theory, something about covering dark circles. Thank you for your continued support of my channel. It means everything to me, and I'm really having so much fun filming and editing, creating thumbnails and everything too. It's just been so much fun. Stay tuned for another video coming from me very soon. Thanks for watching. See ya.